By the end of this video, you'll be able to write an essay so good, admission officers will spit out their coffee and say, "Why haven't we admitted this guy already?" The lived experience, aka diversity essay, is a tough nut to crack. But today, I'll teach you exactly how to master this essay by sharing my top 3 tips, red flags to avoid, then taking an average essay and transforming it into a spectacular one. First things first, common misconception. You don't have to write about your race or culture. Let's be honest, that's where everyone's mind goes first. But newsflash, your diversity could be in something totally unexpected, like being the reigning champion of your family's annual "Who can eat the most tacos without crying" contest. That's a lived experience too. You could also write about your role in the friend group, or a quirky hobby, like geocaching or shadow puppetry. Take me, for example. I could write about growing up Chinese American in Miami, battling between dumplings and Cuban sandwiches, or learning to breakdance in the snow-covered tundra of New Hampshire. Before we dive into these tips, let's take a look at some prompts. Here's Harvard's version, translation. How are you going to make our school way cooler? Stanford's version, translation. Tell us why you're interesting and how you can make our school even more fun to brag about. Dartmouth has something similar, although they don't explicitly use the word diversity or lived experience. Flex your personality like a social media influencer. Now that we've seen the prompts, let's get into tip number 1, empowering over suffering. Listen, not everyone has a dramatic story of overcoming adversity that rivals a Marvel superhero origin movie. If that's not you, don't sweat it. Rather than digging for moments where you were the underdog, why not talk about how you turn your experiences into something empowering? Like, yeah, I taught my entire class how to make perfect dumplings for Chinese New Year. And by perfect, I mean not setting the kitchen on fire. Or maybe you taught kids how to write haikus and limericks because, hey, let's face it, who doesn't love rhyming about ducks? It's all about showing how you took something unique to you and made others' lives better, even if they didn't realize they needed a dumpling lesson in their lives. Tip number 2, pick a place. Saying, "I like pizza" is cute, but saying, "Every summer I make pizza with my Italian grandmother and we have heated debates about pineapple on pizza in the hills of Tuscany." Now that, my friends, is gold. But seriously, show us a place that matters to you, whether it's a hidden corner of your local park where you play Magic the Gathering, or that diner where you and your friends discuss whether Bigfoot or the Chupacabra really exists. The location adds flavor, kind of like, pineapple on pizza. Tip number 3, contribution to campus. A lot of prompts these days specifically ask, how will you contribute to our college campus? If your essay is about your failed career in stand-up comedy, we've all been there, talk about how you'll join an improv group. If you spent your weekends in a ballet studio, explain how you'll pirouette onto the stage of the college's dance ensemble. Ultimately, they want to see how your quirky, one-of-a-kind experiences will make their campus feel like one big, awesome community where everyone's doing cool shit, talking mushrooms. Now, before we move on to the red flags and supercharge an average essay into a masterpiece that screams, "Harvard, let me in!" here's a quick plug. If this video is making you chuckle and learn, hit that like button and subscribe. And if you want some pro-level help with your lived experience essay, or any college essay, visit www.elevated.school/edit-my-essay. You can use the code YouTube15 to get 15% off your first edit. All right, folks, for this exercise, we'll roll with the Harvard prompt. And here's the essay. You wouldn't think that an American-Asian affinity space would be diverse. After all, its whole premise is centered around one specific identity. However, the group included a sophomore from China, a junior from Pakistan, and members from Korea, Japan, and even Israel. As we spent time together, we were able to find shared experiences, like our parents preparing packed lunches for us from our country and being too embarrassed to bring them to school. By exploring our differences, we can continue learning from each other, even when it seems we have shared backgrounds and values. At the same time, people who seem really different may have shared human experiences, feeling like the other of being embarrassed by their parents that can bring them together. Moving forward, I want to learn about people's differences, hear their stories, and learn about their backgrounds, while also creating spaces for people to have shared experiences to bring them together. There are a few problems with this story, and chances are your supplemental essay also suffers from the same issues. Here's the first fat red flag. We haven't actually answered the prompt. This student hasn't actually told us about their own lived experience. Instead, we're just learning that they were mildly involved in this diverse American-Asian affinity space. The focus seemed to be much more on the collective experience as opposed to the individual one. Which brings me to our second problem. This student is way too passive. They're just sort of there, existing. No superhero moves, no initiative, just hanging out. The essay is more like how I observed other people's diversity, rather than here's how I'm freaking awesome. Time to add some spice. Growing up Chinese American in Kansas City, I thought diversity was just Asian versus white, till my family moved to Alhambra my freshman year. Confronted with a dizzying array of languages, Korean, Tagalog, Fujianese, Bengali, Japanese, Malay, Hindi, I realized diversity extended far beyond the simple Asian, Black, Latino, white narratives I'd seen on Hannah Montana. Excited to expand my scope, I joined the American Asian Affinity Space. Gone were the days of hiding my dumplings from my peers, eating chicken nuggets and sandwiches. Meeting every Wednesday, Friday lunch, my new friends showed me their favorite foods. Kimchi, biryani, mee goreng. Amazed by all the new flavors from cumin to cardamom to oyster sauce, I decided to start hosting a weekly eating club where we teach each other about our favorite foods. The first week, I taught my peers how to knead humbo, dough, and mixed filling. As I explained my family's Lunar New Year communal cooking tradition, we laughed at how our deflated humbo that never rose, but still tasted like home. As we experimented with vegan twice-cooked pork, turns out Impossible Burger cannot substitute everything, and halal beef stews, we got to know each other's taste buds, even trying new fusion dishes like biryani with oxtail stew, and samosas with rice noodles, shredded cabbage, and shiitake mushrooms. Next year, I'm excited to bring AAAS to my new college campus, mixing up new recipes with my sweet mates and the Asian American Food and Culture Club. Mapo tofu with injera, humbo with bolognese. Who knew diversity could be so delicious? As you can see, we shifted from the students' original focus on discrimination to empowering examples of sharing and creating recipes with diverse peers. Then we referenced Harvard's diverse student body and the Food and Culture Club to show how the student will instantly start making a positive impact the moment they set foot on campus. It literally only took me a 30-second Google search of Food Club Harvard to find the Food and Culture Club. This is not hard, people. Here is a present for sticking until the end, a breakdance clip, and a link to our supplemental essay playlist masterclass where your boy helps you answer every single college essay prompt ever. Oh, and also, did you know if you like this video, your odds of getting into college double? Peace.